Hi everyone, welcome back to another haul. I've got more and more manga. It never ends. There's just too many great series I'm reading and collecting, so here in this channel we just accept our fate. But stick around towards the end because I do have a fun little announcement. It's nothing crazy, but let's just get started. First series is a new pickup called A Galaxy Next Door by Guido Amagakure, the same mangaka who did the series Sweetness and Lightning. It's published by Kodansha, and I have to say, I really love this volume 1 cover, and just the quality of this print is great. I thought the premise was really interesting with a bit of a twist. I read this volume already, and it centers around Ichiro Kuga, who cares for his two younger siblings since their father passed away. He works very hard to support their little family as a mangaka himself, and one day he's able to bring in an assistant, Shiori Goshiki, who's actually the girl on the cover, to help do the lining and such. There's something magical about her that ends up bringing the two closer together, and it's cute so far, especially with the two younger siblings, and I actually already have volumes 2 to 4 pre-ordered through Barnes & Noble. So yeah, if you're into kind of easygoing romance stories, maybe check out the Chapter 1 preview on the Kodansha website. Next is a really special one, and it's A Silent Voice, the complete collector's edition by Yoshitoki Oima. I think this is another beautifully published volume by Kodansha as a hardcover and compiles 7 volumes into 2 volumes, the second of which will be released in September. The extra large format is nice, although if you're the type like me to sometimes read while in bed, you might want to sit up with this book. It's basically like a school textbook. But it comes with some extra content towards the end, which is awesome. I actually was not even going to collect this manga. I passed by the box set so many times and thought I was more than satisfied with having watched the movie. I don't know if any of you are also like that, but the movie was already very impactful to me that I didn't feel the need to get the manga too. However, several people mentioned that there's so much more to appreciate in the manga, and well, I mean, you don't have to tell me twice. It centers around Shoya Ishida, who bullies Shoko Nishimiya, who's deaf and is just out there trying to make friends. After Shoko transfers out of that school, the bullying is transferred towards Shoya. They eventually reunite, and there begins a sort of redemption arc of self-discovery and a journey for Shoya to make things right. I think it's a beautiful story, and I can't wait to experience it in this format. Next series is Aria, the Masterpiece Edition, volumes 1 to 7 by Kozue Amano, published by Tokyopop in collaboration with Right Stuff, who was able to get it reprinted in this format. Only thing that sucks about the volumes I got is that the spines at the top are a bit scrunched up, which the gold makes it even more obvious. But I'll live with it, and didn't want to bother exchanging since this was a limited reprint, and I believe majority of these volumes are out of print now. But besides that, these volumes are really great quality with the covers, and like wow, the art is stunning. It's a fantasy slice of life that follows Akari Mizunashi in her journey as a gondolier with the Aria company that provides quality high-end tours around Neo-Venetia. I'm expecting some really great environmental drawings in this one, and I've actually traveled to Venice before and have been on a gondola, so it'll be fun to see what this manga series has to offer. This next series I had gotten because of the format in which it was published, and also because I heard it's very good, and that's Chihayafuru by Yuki Suesugu, volumes 1, 2, and 3. These were published by the Kodansha bilingual comics line, so it has both English and Japanese, which I thought was super cool. Other than these 3 volumes, it's actually a digital-only series, unfortunately, through Kodansha's website, but it's a long one at 32 volumes released so far and still ongoing. The volume covers are so beautiful, and it'd be so amazing if it ever got printed past the 3rd volume in this bilingual version. But it centers around Chihaya, who learns of the competitive world surrounding Karuta, a traditional Japanese card game, through a classmate, Arata. Alongside another friend, Taichi, they get super immersed in the game as they pursue this passion for the sport. I'm looking forward to getting into this one, as I've heard and read some great love for it, so definitely excited to learn about Karuta. Next is the final volume of Days on Fez, Volume 5. It's a fairly simple series that centers around this group of friends that plan to go to music festivals and then go to them. I think it's a pretty relatable series for me because there were a few years where I was going to so many music festivals and concerts. It really was a blast planning, and then the travel leading up to the event, plus the energy and atmosphere of being at the music event are just all around good vibes, which is what this series is all about. A music slice of life. A nice chill series for anyone to read if you're into something casual like this. I've been waiting for these next 2 volumes since forever, and that's Hell's Paradise Jigokuraku Volume 6 and 7. I've talked about this series several times in previous videos because this has been such a struggle to get. Majority of the volumes were out of stock, to where the only ones I had for quite some time were the later volumes. But it centers around Gabimaru and others who are also death row bound as they search for the elixir of life in exchange for a pardon by the shogunate. I think the anime will be released this year. I don't know if that's actually true, so don't quote me on that, but I'll definitely read the series before the anime is released. Super excited for it though, because MAPPA. Don't need to say any more because, if you saw that trailer, then you know. Next series is Jujutsu Kaisen, volumes 15 and 16. Don't have to explain this series that much since you all have most likely heard or seen the series. No spoilers for me yet because I'm still trying to catch up with reading this. I'm only on volume 5, which is still within what was covered in the anime. I'm slowly getting through it, don't worry. I hear so much about this Shibuya arc and I'm so clueless and trying to make my way there. Most of my love for this series is because of the anime, so besides catching up with the manga, I'm so hyped for the 2nd season. Moving on to a few shoujo series, this next volume is Ima Koi Volume 2. A seemingly straightforward romance story between Satomi and Kazuma, who get into a relationship and experience dating. I read this for the beautiful art and character designs, the cute moments, the communication, and the relationship progression, which is always refreshing. I don't see much in the way of an overarching conflict so far, which I can sometimes find boring or end up totally loving it depending if the characters are endearing enough. So not much to say about this one except that I'm continuing to follow along as volumes get released. Next is Lovesick Ellie, volumes 3 and 4. Another high school shoujo centered around Eriko, or Ellie, as she goes by on her Twitter account, who fantasizes about Akira, one of her classmates. So while Eriko has this other side to her via a very open online personality, Akira also carries himself a bit differently from when he's in front of other people versus in private. There's a lot of secondhand embarrassment that I get when reading this series because Akira reads her tweets and it's I would just die if my fantasies were found out that way. Although Eriko continues to tweet regardless, so she obviously doesn't mind. But the dynamic between the two characters is pretty fun, and I'm enjoying reading about all the antics Eriko gets herself into. This next series is one of my top favorites, and that's Living Room Matsunaga-san with his volume 10, which is the second to last volume. If you saw my manga organization video and buy haul video, you'll know how obsessed I am with Matsunaga-san. I mean, the series itself, yes, but just Jun Matsunaga in general. I've read this series quite a few times now, and rereading it still warms my heart and makes me blush from how much I love it. It follows Miko as she moves into a boarding house run by her uncle and has a whole cast of other tenants. I think each one has their own gradual character development as they get to know each other under the one roof, and it's nice and a sweet series that makes me so envious of that kind of friendship dynamic. Then, of course, the relationship between Miko and Jun is there, and to be honest, I wasn't bothered by the age gap. It's acknowledged and respected with, I think, two very mature characters. Of course, if that's not for you, maybe skip the series, but overall, this is something I will always reread and probably will like every other month. Okay, this next one I still have yet to start reading, and that's Moriarty Volume 7. I won't be picking up or pre-ordering any more volumes until I've actually read what I have. But it centers around Moriarty, the opposing counterpart and antagonist to Sherlock Holmes. I know quite a few of you really enjoy this series, so I will definitely be getting into it as I do love this manga theme and aesthetic and the mystery adventure genre. Next series needs absolutely no introduction, and that's Spy Family Volume 7. Who else is loving the manga and anime? Everyone? Okay, good. No arguments allowed, I'm sorry. I'm in love with both, and it's been so long since I've followed a manga chapter by chapter, as well as the anime episode release every week. I'm either laughing or literally going, aww, in every other scene, regardless of whether I'm reading or watching it. The whole family must be protected. So I'm actually past this most recent volume release, and it's still so entertaining and heartwarming. Although I am sad that the first half of the anime season is done, and won't be picking up until later this year, supposedly. But yeah, I don't think anyone understands how much I love the series. But to give you a glimpse, I'll put up all the figures I've pre-ordered so far. And I don't plan on canceling any of these pre-orders. So yeah, now you know. Another series I deeply love is the Violet Evergarden anime, so I just had to get the original source material, which are these light novels by Kana Akatsuki and illustrations by Akiko Takase. After being the first ones to ever win the Kyoto Animation Novel Award Grand Prize in 2014 from one of the three categories, a novel, scenario, and manga, it was published by KyoAni under the K.A. Esuma Bunko imprint. I don't know if these would someday get published with an official translation, but we can only hope and request publishers to pick this up if KyoAni would ever allow it. So it's a total of 2 light novels with a third side story called Violet Evergarden Gaiden, and then a final 4th volume called Ever After. It centers around Violet, who is an auto memories doll and works at a postal company. As a doll, she and others like her are able to listen, interpret, and express a client's feelings through letters in the place of those clients who aren't able to write letters themselves for whatever reason. Dolls will travel anywhere and anytime they are called upon to perform this duty, and it's fairly episodic as Violet meets various people, like capturing a soldier's last words for his loved ones, translating works of an astronomer, heart-wrenching letters surrounding a young girl and her mother, and then working with a playwright who had lost his wife and young daughter. However, Violet has her own past in having contributed to the violence in the war set prior to her becoming a doll, which relates to this overarching plot focused on her relationship with Major Gilbert, as well as this internal struggle that sort of mentally and emotionally tears her apart for having taken part in the killing and destruction during the war. It's such a beautiful anime and beautifully written story that I have to say is one of my top 3 favorite series of all time. When it comes to the anime, KyoAni gave this novel the best animation possible that depicted so much emotion and depth that I can't help but cry no matter how many times I watch it. If you haven't read the light novel or watched the anime and movies, please do so if this type of drama and heartfelt storytelling appeals to you. And lastly, we'll pick up the mood with the final volume of Wotakoi, the standard edition. But just wait. I fell into the ultimate trap of being a collector, and not only did I also get the Barnes & Noble limited edition with Narumi and Hirotaka in these cute outfits, I also got the Books A Million limited edition with them in traditional yukata and kimono clothing, as well as the Kinokuniya limited edition with them when they were kids and holding hands with the widest grins. The Kinokuniya variant is too freaking adorable. And then extra bonus, it also came with a shikishi board, which I love because I'm a sucker for merch. Consumerism and FOMO got the better of me, I know. I'm a bit ashamed at having 4 of the same volume, but I love Wotakoi a lot, and these covers were too hard to pass up. If I were to be honest and pick only one though, I would probably just go with the Kinokuniya one because it comes with something extra, and I mean, come on, look at this, it's too cute. I don't know if any of these are still available, but if they're not online, do check out these books in store if you can, as they might have reserved copies to be sold in store aside from an allotted number to be sold online. But anyways, this is a comedy romance centered around a group of adult otakus and gamers. I mean, well, except Hirotaka's brother, and their relationships between each other within the workplace, and then outside of it, like when they go to conventions or play games at someone's house. I actually haven't read the 5th volume yet, so that means I haven't read this final volume, and since I have 4 copies, I better read this 4 times minimum. But now that these final volumes are here, I can wrap this series up. And so that's my entire haul for this video. I had a lot to say for many of these series, so let me know if you're invested in any of the ones I mentioned and which have you absolutely hooked. But my small announcement is that I'll be going to the Anime Expo, the local convention I've been going to for so many years, but the last time I went was in 2019 before the pandemic. I'm super excited and will try my best to vlog the day that I go, so hope you look forward to that video whenever I'm able to edit the footage. I'll also be cosplaying, so it's gonna be so much more fun experiencing the convention all dressed up. So anyways, if the next video isn't the AX vlog, it'll most likely be the one after that. In the meantime, I'd love it if you like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in my next video. Take care.